There was a time you could donate blood on your lunch hour and still have time to grab a burger on your way back to work. But those days are gone. While donating blood takes longer now, the additional steps we take help protect the safety of the blood supply and you.
Are you feeling well and healthy today?
Yes. Have you ever had malaria?
No. Have you had Chagas disease or babesiosis?
No.
We do ask a lot of questions. We start with questions about your health and your medical history. We'll ask if you're feeling well, if you've recently been ill, or if you currently have symptoms. We may ask you to come back when you're feeling better. We'll also check your pulse, your blood pressure, your temperature, and your blood iron level.
Were you born in, have you lived in, or have you traveled to any African country since 1977?
No. In the past 3 years, have you been outside the United States?
No.
In the past 6 weeks, have you been pregnant or are you now pregnant?
No.
Donors always want to know, why do we ask the same questions every single time they come to donate? Donors who give several times a year can almost recite the questions right along with our staff. When you donate blood, your body has to replenish the blood you gave. So you have to wait at least 8 weeks between whole blood donations and 16 weeks between double red cell donations. A lot can happen in that time. You may have been exposed to a disease like malaria or hepatitis and not even know it. You may feel fine, but you've been exposed. Even though we test every blood donation for hepatitis and other diseases, our questions are the first layer of protection for patients who receive blood.
Past 12 months, have you had a tattoo applied?
Since you last donated blood, you may have gotten a piercing or a tattoo. Many places where those services are provided are not regulated, so we'll ask you some follow-up questions and may ask you to wait 12 months before you donate again. Everything's probably fine, but if you or someone you love ever needs blood, you would want us to take that extra step to protect you.
In the past 3 days, have you taken piroxicam, Valium, aspirin, or anything that has aspirin in it?
We'll ask what medications you're taking. Most are fine, but if you're taking certain medications or have had certain illnesses, we may ask you to wait a while before you donate blood.
Do you have AIDS or have you had a positive test for AIDS virus?
No.
In the past 2 months, have you had sex even once with anyone who has AIDS or has had a positive test for AIDS virus?
No.
Have you taken money or drugs for sex?
No.
Have you given money or drugs to anyone to have sex with you?
We ask a group of intensely personal questions about behavior and sexual activity. These questions have to do with behavior that puts people at greater risk of catching or spreading HIV, the virus that causes AIDS. Sometimes donors will say, "Nothing's changed since the last time I was here. You don't need to ask me those questions every single time." Even so, the FDA, the federal agency that regulates blood centers, says we have to ask those questions of every donor every time. The blood supply is protected by layers of safety, kind of like fences inside of fences to protect something precious. Testing is one of those layers. We test each and every blood donation, but the questions are an important layer too. And again, if you put yourself on the receiving end,
And thank you again for coming today.
you'd want us to ask those questions just to be sure.